U.S. Central Command out of Tampa and its social media accounts apparently have been hacked by terrorists, raising new questions about how prepared we are for cyber warfare. Now, the hackers taking control of CENTCOM's Twitter feed, leaking sensitive information about members of the military, including their addresses at home, posting threats like this: "We won't stop. We know everything about you, your wives, and your children." Well, Vinny Troy is a certified computer hacking forensic investigator. He'll tell us in a moment how vulnerable we are. But first, let's ask retired four-star General Jack Keane, the chairman of the Institute for the Study of War and a Fox News military analyst. General, good morning to you. Big deal here or not?
Well, certainly if ISIS did do this, and there is some speculation that they may not have, and it may have just been a hacker prank, but the FBI will find that out. But let's make the assumption that they did do it. It's a big deal in this way. Certainly, they did not penetrate military networks or gain operational information, but they have scored a propaganda coup in the sense that they're embarrassing and humiliating the very command that is prosecuting the war against them. And any kind of public relations plus that they get, and they work very hard to get them, frankly, helps them with recruiting and helps them with financing. So, yeah, it's a gain for them, and I'm sure the command is very frustrated.
This is what we heard from the Pentagon. This is little more, in our view, this is the quote now, than a cyber prank. It's an annoyance. It in no way compromises our operations in any way, shape, or form. Is it more than just an annoyance, though, General?
Well, I agree with his characterization that it didn't do harm to our military networks or operational information. But as I indicated, I think it's a plus for ISIS if they're involved here, because it certainly aids and abets what they're trying to accomplish. And after all, I mean, they are totally dependent on getting new recruits and financing to prosecute this long war that they're going to be involved in with us. And every indication that we have is that they're still recruiting and they still have money. We haven't been able to counter either one of those quite effectively yet, although that is a major objective we're working toward.
Let me bring in Vinny Troy now. Sir, good morning to you. How prepared are we for cyber war today?
To be honest, I don't think we're very prepared overall. I mean, part of the problem that we see is, we have a large number of these critical control infrastructure pieces that are still going unprotected and that we know, for example, have been infected with malware. I mean, a lot of the Russian actors, for example, have launched malware since 2011 that we know of, for example, called Black Energy, and that's infected a number of our major critical systems at this point.
Martin Dempsey told Chris Wallace on Sunday, this is where the other side is a peer of ours. We can beat them militarily quite easily and handily, but this is where the playing field is even. Do you agree?
I agree. I mean, they have teams of hackers just, spending all of their time trying to infiltrate our networks. And I mean, unless we're prepared and unless we spend the money to beef up our infrastructure, we're really not going to be able to get a handle on this. And this is a very serious and very critical point. I mean, this country has to get into a point of spending money to beef up our security, and I just don't think we're doing that at this
Sir,
point.
are we moving toward that or not?
It's hard to say. I mean, I'd like to think that we are, but there's so many different pieces at this point that we continuously find that aren't secure that it's very easy to point a finger and say, why aren't you securing these networks? Maybe the funding isn't there. I mean, again, there's just so many pieces to secure that it's hard to say whether or not we are properly moving in that direction.
Let me get back to Jack Keane quickly on the same question about Martin Dempsey, talking about them being our peers on this. How often is that talked about, General?
Oh, constantly. I was on the Secretary of Defense's policy board for almost 10 years, and I'll tell you what, it was our #1 subject throughout most of that time frame. I mean, here's the real issue. If you were talking to the director of the National Security Agency who runs Cyber Command as opposed to me, and you asked him, what is your #1 concern, he'll tell you this. He said a terrorist organization that is able to finance a state-of-the-art cyber attack against the United States, probably using Russian or Iranian capability to attack our financial system or our utility grid and accomplish something that would be dramatically more worse than 9/11. Wow, that is the thing that keeps these guys up.
That's unbelievable. Jack Keane, thank you, General. Vinny Troy, thank you to you as well.